lot of the things are still very valid here. Okay, so like I could still do a hip bump sweep. And what I like to do is I just keep the grip right here on the wrist if I can, right? So I come in right here and I break this through, not allowing her to have access to post at all, right? So the hip bump sweep is very valid. But what happens a lot of the time here is I have this and she's going to lift her butt up or do something to push into me. The second she gives me access to underneath her knees, like the flower sweep is my favorite sweep for a gi. And remember, some people call this a pendulum sweep. So I get underneath here and look at how her hand's stuck here. Sometimes it might be hard to grab this if I don't have a really good chomp on it in no gi, but in the gi, man, I have this launched all day. Boom, I get right up to that mount. Now, let's talk about something else, is I also have chokes from here. Okay, so this is one thing I like to do, is I'm going to show you this series just so that way you can kind of see everything blended together, all right? As I grab the sleeves here, I keep it to my chest. And let me show you a caveat real quick as well. Notice how when I go to lock this in for a flower sweep, and I don't just let go and then start going for it. I only let go of one thing to progress one thing, but I don't let go of everything else. Everything else needs to be maintained. So she lifts her butt up, and I go for this. Notice I keep this tight to my chest. But what happens oftentimes is your body thinks, okay, she needs to go that way, so you like pull her that way, but that just gives her a post, and now I can't get over there. And that's no good, right? So I want to keep this to my chest. Boom. And you see, just by getting underneath her knee, she's already collapsing. All right. Now, we talked about when we do the hip bump sweep and she posts, right? I'm either going to try and grab that, or she's setting me up here for that arm bar. Or sorry, for that Kimura, I apologize. Setting me up for that Kimura. Well, we do have that same option in the gi. And now, as we talked about when we were doing no gi, how to get the arm bar in the gi, this is it. So I'm going to be right here, right? And she's going to be lifting up her butt or whatever, and I'm going to get underneath her leg right here. And she realizes she's going to be swept, and she realizes that I have the posting arm blocked. So she has to put her weight back in order to not get swept. So all I'm going to do right here is, notice how I just kept this to my chest. I'm going to bring my leg in front of her face, and bam, I have that same exact arm bar we talked about earlier. And on top of that, now I have her leg. All right? So even if I wanted to take her to the mat, I could, or I could just finish this arm bar from right here. So I'm here, right? And remember, I'm not getting to close guard, grabbing her sleeves, and then reaching for it. I might fight, and something might happen where I finally get to the closed guard, and I get her wrist, and I might be here for like 5-10 seconds. While she freaks out and she's trying to figure out what's going on. I just control and I wait for her to make a mistake. Maybe she puts her arm too far down and I go for a triangle, right? Does that make sense? Maybe she pushes too far back and now I have my hip bump sweep. Or what we're talking about right now, maybe she gets right here and she tries to push me forward and she lifts her butt up to do something else. I know, I'm just waiting for that to happen. So I scooch underneath here and I finish that flower sweep. Or she posted just like that. She posted, oh, boom, I put my leg in front, and out, I have my leg in front. I have the same finishing mechanics where I'm pinching my knees, I'm chomping her head down, all right? And I can finish this from right here. Or she falls down to the ground, and now I have a traditional arm bar. Same exact thing, pinching my knees, fulcrum, boom. We already talked about those finishing mechanics, all right? So, excellent option to get the arm bar as she resists the flower sweep. Another thing that might happen, right, is I'm holding here, she fights, she ends up lifting her butt up, I get underneath here for the flower sweep, right? Notice how she's posting right here, but oftentimes as she goes to posture herself back up, I go for this and she pulls her arm out. All right, now we have options for our omoplatas, which I won't go into right now, but what we do know is the triangle, where I can lock in the triangle, pinch my knees together, close the circuit, grab the back of the head. I could do the triangle arm bar, leg in front of the face arm bar. Or I could start going for a Kimura, or an Americana, or a Kimura, or a violin arm bar. Like there's a million different things. So as I go for this, right? Boom, boom, You see how this is all blending together? All right? And what's even cooler, in my opinion, is as she realized she's getting flower sweat, she pushes her hips way far back, too far back. And now I just finished with the hip bump sweep. And now I'm back on top with the hip bump sweep. All right, which is awesome. So I'm not going to recover the hip bump sweep, but so now the flower sweep can lead to all these other different options that you already have the submissions to, which is great. And let's say, okay, I get right here. Okay, I just wanted to view this because I did it a little bit in the no gi, but it's much better in the gi. Okay, so let's say she's just not moving. She's doing a really good job. Okay, I'm going to go for my hip bump sweep, but I'm going to do it the wrong way. Okay, so I'm going to go for my hip bump sweep. She knows what's going on, so she posts and she lifts her butt up. Okay, this is perfect because I still have the sleeve to my chest. I got my flower sweep. So you can always bait, right? I'm baiting her to make her react and respond the wrong way. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and do a few of those from the side. So I get to the closed guard. The first thing I do is grab the sleeves, right? Even if she's fighting. And sometimes I'll let her go to start passing guard. Like she starts setting something up. Okay, boom, I just hold her here. All right, now get underneath her, kick her up and over, get to mount. Okay, I'm going to do it to the other side now. Okay. Oh, get underneath her, kick her up over, and you see I hold this really tight. Okay, now let's go ahead and switch our heads the other way, just because we can keep it consistent. All right, so I'm holding the sleeves. I get underneath her, boom, and then now she's posturing up or she's posting. Just leg in front of the face, pinching my knees, finishing the arm bar right here. She pulls her arm out. Walk this over for the triangle. Triangle arm bar, right? Where I either get this leg in front of the face, whatever it may be. Okay? And then, sorry, I'm like kind of not rushing through this, but you guys have already seen this enough, right? So I get underneath her, and now she postures up way too far back. And now I can use this to finish